well, we have to wait and see after the session where they exactly are.
Any idea on the timescale for Alisson, just how serious the hamstring injury is?
Yeah, that depends also on how fast a recovery goes. So it's clear that he's not. Saturday, it's clear that he's not going to play for Brazil, and I would be surprised if he would be there in the first game after the international break. But from there on, sometimes things can go a bit faster or a bit slower. So it's always difficult to say the amount of days and weeks. But for the upcoming games, he will not be part of us or the Brazil team.
I suppose what it does mean, though, as well, is it gives Mamadashvili an opportunity and the potential this weekend for his Premier League debut. Just tell us what kind of an impression he's made on you, what kind of a level you see him at.
I think we've seen against Southampton how well he's adjusted. We knew that we were bringing in a very good goalkeeper, but when he plays his first game, that's always the best way of seeing that he's adjusted well or not. And I think we've seen in that game that he's adjusted really well to our club, which is not a surprise because he's a quality goalkeeper, and now he can do what Cruyff had to do so many times in the past, replacing Alisson, hopefully in a way like Cruyff did so many times before.
Just with Ali, is there a concern again that it's a hamstring?
Why?
Because it just seems to be a similar kind of injury, is it? Or is it a similar kind of injury to the ones that you suffered last season?
I'm not how do you say this? I'm not a doctor, so I cannot tell you if it's every time the same or whatever. What I'm mainly interested in is, can he play in the weekend and how long is it going to take? And I think there are other people in the club that can give you a better answer to your question than I can.
Obviously, results of the past week had not been the norm during your time here. In that respect, then, what reaction have you seen from your players, and what kind of a job have you had to do to pick them up ahead of this game against Chelsea now?
No, if the reaction is after you lose against Palace, you lose another game, you can argue if that is positive. But I saw a team that wanted to try from the first to the last second everything to get a result. Different than to the Palace game, we won much more second balls. We were like in the Palace game close to a result, and I've said many times last season the margins are so small, and that's the same this season again. And we are trying to find a way of that is not about luck or bad luck, or it's not about a set piece goal scored or against. That we are just better than that. It doesn't matter if Hugo Ekitike goes one-on-one to the goalkeeper. He gets twice or three times a pull on his shoulder, but he does everything to stay on his feet, like our players mainly do. And 1 minute later, in the other 18-yard box, a player feels this, goes to the ground as if it was the worst hit he ever had, and the referee gives a penalty. Again, this can happen, and we should be better than that. That it doesn't matter if you are luck, bad luck, or smart or not smart. If you score a set-piece goal or you concede two, like against Palace. By the way, if we would have had the referee that we had against Galatasaray, we wouldn't have lost against Palace, because this one blew his whistle exactly after 8 minutes. But again, that has nothing to do with the current results. We need to do better. And that's why we are what we're going to try.
Thank you.
Hi, Arne. Alexander has had 5 appearances now, so I'm just wondering how you feel he's settling in here at Liverpool.
Yeah, I said to him when he started, the difficult thing will be you will have your appearances, like you just said, but if you add the minutes together, he probably only had 2 or 3 90-minute games. But yeah, that is what we inherited from the situation of him not being with the team in Newcastle. And we knew this before, so it's not an excuse. He already scored a goal. He gets fitter and fitter, but the main thing, he needs to adjust to his teammates, and the teammates need to adjust to him. And the more you play together, the better things will work. There was a great moment, not great because it didn't end up the way I wanted, but he had a great counter movement in the Palace game. Where in the end the midfielder didn't see that, and he already played the ball to the right. If he would have seen it, he would have been one-on-one to the goalkeeper. So these are the things you get if you play more together, And playing more together has been a bit harder than last season because of Alexander Isak, because of McAllister, because of Conor Bradley. That Dominic Szoboszlai has played on 8, on 10, on right fullback for the reasons I just said. And but we cannot. We are, in my opinion, too focused on this season. But the second part of last season had a lot of similarities with the start of this season. With one exception, is that the second part of last season we scored 7 set-piece goals, which led to a lot of wins. And this season we've conceded 4, I think. So we play tomorrow Chelsea. I think they've scored more than 50% of their goals from set pieces. So this is the new reality in the Premier League, and we were doing this really well the second part of last season. And this season we have had many good chances from set pieces as well. Unfortunately, didn't score yet.
So does that mean you've got to work harder at them now, or is it just luck?
What I just said, we've been very close to scoring set pieces this season already. Ibu, a big chance against Galatasaray and a big chance against Palace. So I'm very happy about the amount of chances we generate from set pieces, but we haven't scored yet. And yeah, is that luck, bad luck? At this moment of time, I would say we are a bit unlucky. If this just keeps on going throughout the whole season, it might have to do with other things as well. But what I'm trying to say is open play goals, second part of last season and the first part of last season is a main difference. And I don't think we do things different. I do see teams doing a lot of things different to us. So the first part of last season, Jürgen gave me a lot of gifts, but one of the gifts he also gave me was ending up 3rd the year before and 5th that year before. And him being so well known that a new manager came in and everybody thought, oh, let's start to play against Liverpool. And teams played in a completely different way in the first half of the season against us than they did when we were top of the league after half of the season and when we were top of the Champions League after the first part of the season. And I can see this going now into the second half in this part of this season. And we have to find answers to that. And last season, one of the answers was a set piece. Like many teams, unlock low blocks with set pieces. And this season, we haven't done that yet.
When we think about Chelsea and Liverpool, it's been sloppy the last couple of weeks. Aaron, how much of a factor is that going to be in this matchup?
Yeah, both of these teams, Chelsea and Liverpool, look disjointed, discombobulated. They look like they're not really on the same page with each other, with the manager. They're in a difficult period, and this match is massive for both of them. Who
needs the points more?
I wrestled over this. I stayed up late last night. I tossed and turned. I was like, who really needs the points more? I was like, is it Liverpool? But they're sitting top of the table. Yes, they've had a couple bad results. They're still top of the table. They'll be fine. If Chelsea loses this one, Enzo Maresca probably gets sacked. They probably sell 4 or 5 players. They probably buy 6 players. Everything kind of changes around. I think, for me, Chelsea needs the points more.
For Chelsea, we've been hovering around the panic button for a while. It was like, what happens with Champions League? Oh, they win.
We're like right there.
This might be the weekend. But for Liverpool, they're still trying to figure out how to fit the pieces in that they've brought in over the summer. This is a group that has brought in huge players, Florian Wirtz being the biggest one. And our UCL coverage of Jamie Carragher talked so much about how this is a team that needs to not start Florian Wirtz. But when you think about how this group has brought in different players, when you have a team that has so many new faces, why does it take so long to get them into the mix and on the same page?
Yeah, I mean, look, 4 starters for me coming into it, that's quite a big shift. Normally maybe 2 or 3 tweaks. 4 is a lot, so that takes time. And then for me, I've played with plenty internationals that have come into the league in England, and it does take time. And Stina Blackstenius always rings to mind when I think of that. You know, top player, superstar in the game now, but came from the Swedish league, and it's different tacticals. You're used to way more space. All of a sudden, WSL, you're playing against a low block. But credit to her, kept working and built herself up to one of the best in the WSL and Champions League. So I think it's a big call saying someone needs to be dropped, but I understand football's fickle game, and there's no. He's had a fair few games now, though. I think it's 7, if I'm right, come in and no goals, 1 assist. So is it time for a change? Maybe we'll see it at the weekend.
But within the chaos, there's a silver lining. From Salah's shocking dip in form to an injury list that keeps growing, to a surprise transfer link with a Premier League rival. The drama is unfolding fast. Let's break it down. De Salah, the king who looks human again. For years, Mohamed Salah has been Liverpool's unstoppable weapon. Defenders feared him, fans worshipped him, and his numbers were simply insane. 34 goals and 23 assists last season alone. But now, something feels different. This season, Salah has 3 goals and 3 assists in 9 games. Not bad, right? But compared to his own ridiculous standards, it feels underwhelming. Even more worrying, since March, he has only found the net 5 times in 20 appearances. Manager Arne Slot didn't hide from the truth. He admitted, yes, Salah's output has dropped, but it's not just him. It's the way the whole team is functioning. He explained how opponents are shutting Liverpool down. Teams like Manchester United no longer risk building from the back at Anfield. Instead, they launch long balls, avoid the press, and make it harder for Salah to get those deadly chances in open play. So, is Salah finished? Absolutely not. Slot believes this is only a phase, part of adapting to his new tactical system. And once the balance clicks, Salah will be the one leading Liverpool's attack again. But for now, the king looks human. A huge relief. Hugo Ekitike's injury update. As if Salah's struggles weren't enough, Liverpool have been drowning in injuries. Giovanni Lo Celso, Federico Chiesa, Jadon Duns all sidelined. Alisson, the world-class goalkeeper, is also out for weeks. And then came the scare. Hugo Ekitike limping off against Galatasaray. Fans feared the worst. Was this the final blow? But then, good news. The 23-year-old striker has been called up by the French national team for their World Cup qualifiers. That alone tells you the injury isn't serious. While Liverpool will likely rest him before the Chelsea clash, Ekitike is expected to be fully fit after the international break. And make no mistake, his presence is a game changer. With Isak not fully fit and Duns injured, Ekitike has quickly become a vital piece of Slot's attack. He is fast, sharp, and already adapting perfectly to Liverpool's system. Losing him could have been a disaster. Keeping him fit could save Liverpool's season. The secret transfer target, Maxence Lacroix. Now here's where things get spicy. Liverpool are closely monitoring Crystal Palace defender Maxence Lacroix. Yes, Palace, the same club that blocked Mark Guehi's $35 million move to Anfield last summer. But Lacroix, he's on another level. At just 25, he's already become Palace's defensive rock. Calm, elegant, dominant in the air, he's been described as a Rolls-Royce defender. Under Oliver Glasner, Palace are on an unbelievable 19-game unbeaten run, lifting trophies and making waves in Europe. And at the heart of it all, Lacroix. Of course, signing him won't be easy. Palace have him locked under contract until 2029, and they're in no mood to sell during their strongest period in modern history. If Liverpool want him, they'll need to pay big, very big. But here's why it matters. Virgil van Dijk isn't getting younger. Injuries are piling up. And if Liverpool want to keep fighting for the Premier League and Champions League, depth in defense is non-negotiable. Lacroix could be the next great leader at Anfield. Final thoughts. So here we are. Salah is struggling but still dangerous. Ekitike proved he's a future star and thankfully fit again. And a potential blockbuster transfer for Lacroix on the horizon. Liverpool's story this season is already filled with drama, setbacks, and hope. And as always with this club, it's never boring. The question is, will these challenges break the Reds, or will they fuel another unforgettable comeback? One thing's for sure, The next few weeks at Anfield will be unmissable. Liverpool fans, what do you think? Is Salah finished or just waiting to explode again? Could Lacroix be the man to secure our defense for the future? And how important is Ekitike to Slot's system? Drop your thoughts below and stay tuned because this story is only getting